Hey, welcome to Coffee Break. My name is Matt Worobec. With me today, I have Pyper Rouse-Cringan. Cheers.
Cheers.
Can you cheers with coffee? I'm not sure.
I'm sure you can. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah. So before we jump into today's talk, it sounds so formal, but can you just tell everyone what you do here at Sherpa?
Yeah, I am an account manager here at Sherpa. I've been here for, I guess it's going on 3 years in the new year. And I primarily have worked on big ag accounts here, but I feel like I've touched a lot of the accounts in different industries that we have. So
yeah, definitely. You so that's actually kind of what I want to talk about today. Is if you could maybe expand on your experience, because like nobody else on the team has really been on secondment with a client, so being on location, in their office on location. And it turned out it was an agriculture client. You're back now. Mm-hmm. You were gone for a year?
I was, yeah. May of 2018 to June of 2019 this year, yeah.
So could you tell us, like, how did that come about, without naming names?
Well, so it was our largest client at the time, and a client of mine. They were going through a merger, and as a result had a hiring freeze. While this was happening, they lost a very important member of their internal marketing team and were really struggling to move things forward, but again with the hiring freeze weren't able to take someone on. Never mind the fact that it would have been next to impossible to do that, trying to onboard and train someone and offer them job security when you're in the middle of this. Right. So they had approached Marty Fisher. I don't know if he needs an introduction. Yeah, they had approached Marty about whether or not he'd be interested in working on an arrangement where I could essentially be loaned out for a certain amount of time to their marketing team. Initially, it was only supposed to be for 3 months, and it ended up being a full year.
I had no idea. Okay, so it was initially 3 months.
I didn't either until the 3 months was up and I was still there. Yeah. So it was a bit of a moving target.
As transitions, like company mergers are.
And you know what, if you have a good relationship with a client, that's the kind of stuff that you can do, right? Yeah. So I need them we thought we only needed 3 months. We actually need her for longer. So that was how that happened, yep.
So fill us in on how did it work out?
Well, it worked out. It worked out great. I'm actually writing my Edge article about it this afternoon, but it's
our Sherpa newsletter.
Yeah. It worked out great. It was great for them because, like I said, they were really hurting. This was a huge gap in their internal marketing team, and I was able to come in and really hit the ground running, so to speak. I knew all of the clients at this business. I knew all about their business. Granted, I learned a lot more kind of in-depth things while there. So I was literally able to, day one, Monday morning, I went in, had a couple of meetings, and was off to the races from there, kind of creating the marketing plans and whatnot that they needed. It was also great because I had relationships obviously with the Sherpas that were working on those accounts, as well as another agency here in Winnipeg who also did some work with this company. So it was great, and then the arrangement was that I came back to Sherpa on Fridays to kind of clean things up. Obviously only being in 1 day a week doesn't really allow you to manage any projects, right? That didn't work out that way. Outside of my job at this company. Yeah. But I always really looked forward to Fridays because I would kind of come in and reconnect with everybody and kind of share knowledge with what was happening over there and get back in touch with what was happening here at Sherpa. Yeah.
It was great working with you on the other side.
Yeah, that was fun.
I came in, just to give a bit of backstory, I came in about a year ago, and that was when you were kind of on your last, you're in your 4 months?
Like
4 more
I feel like it was halfway through, I want to say.
Maybe, yeah. So I met Pyper first as she was my client, and then we would come in on a Friday and I would formally meet you, and it was interesting. Yeah. So just to kind of sum up here, or just maybe provide some more value here, if someone is looking at having to enter an agreement with like on secondment, do you have any tips or tricks that you kind of worked out that you could provide? I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think we learned, so one thing that we did learn, I think that we had this feeling that, I was only there 4 days a week, and so for that 1 day a week, I would be able to, manage a certain amount of workload here. That turned out to be kind of unreasonable, so we did find that out. So, one thing you'd want to figure out at the outset is, what the needs are from both the client and the agency of the employee. So, if the arrangement, maybe for a short-term agreement, depending on the need from a client, perhaps it's 5 days a week. Perhaps, you find other ways to make sure that employee stays, very much a Sherpa and feels that they're still a Sherpa. But, maybe they are needed those 5 days a week, or maybe it's a 3 and 2 day split, or, something of that nature. Yeah. But, there were a lot of benefits. Again, it really did strengthen the relationship I felt that our company had with this company. From a personal perspective, it strengthened my level of knowledge. I felt like I got a lot of, personal and professional growth out of it, which extended to Sherpa, because again, aside from, there's always proprietary things, like you said, with firewalls that you can't, talk about or divulge back at your agency. But frankly, the client loved that I was able to bring back this institutional knowledge about their business and their company that only furthered our knowledge at Sherpa of how to help market them. And yeah, so I mean, my advice would be, to companies potentially, I know we're always looking for the newest kind of shiniest tactic or piece of, marketing that, we can use, but there are things like secondment and contracting and that sort of thing that are, really kind of old tactics within agencies that work for a lot of companies. And so if there's a need, I, would highly recommend people exploring that.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Cheers.
See you guys next time.